Yes, people, the Xbox world is going bonkers with rumours rife this week about Xbox exclusives coming to PlayStation. You've got grown Xbox commentators throwing their toys out of the pram and having a tantrum as though they've walked in on their girlfriend sleeping with their best mate. Well, guess what, nerd? You don't have a girlfriend anyway. But no, it's gone crazy in the old Twitter sphere when it comes to Xbox over the last week. So much so that even tonight or today, this afternoon, wherever you are in the world, Phil Spencer came out in an attempt to say, whoa, hold up. We will be addressing these rumours. You don't do that unless there's substance to some of it. So we're going to be talking about all of that. What is it? If you're not aware, it's basically for some time, for some weeks, there's been rumours about Xbox exclusives coming to PlayStation. What does that mean? Is it the end of consoles? Are you going to pick up your Xbox and chuck it out your window? And all this, let me know in the chat down below. And of course, let me know what games you've been playing and all of that. There'll also be a brief look at PlayStation State of Play and all the other exciting gaming news. So it's Monday Game Chat. Let's roll the title.
It's the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden.
Yokoso. What is up, my peoples? Welcome. Arigato gozaimasu. Welcome to the Monday Game Chat. I hope you're good. I do. I hope you are good. I hope you are well. I appreciate you being here tonight. It's certainly kicking off. Are you aware of what's been kicking off? I mean, if you live on Twitter like I do, much to my shame and stupidity, you would have seen all these kind of various Xbox commentators spouting nonsense and throwing their toys out of the pram, as I said, and all of this. And why? Why? Well, a few weeks ago, there were rumours that Hi-Fi Rush, which was effectively a shadow drop Xbox exclusive, might be coming to Nintendo Switch / PlayStation 5. And then suddenly that becomes Xbox are looking at more seemingly Xbox exclusive games like Sea of Thieves potentially coming to PlayStation 5. Oh, my Lord. And then, of course, recently at the recent Xbox games announcements, developer conference they had a few weeks ago, we had the reveal of Indiana Jones. And even that now, since then, which was meant to be a big Xbox exclusive. Look at us. We've got Indiana Jones and you haven't. Meh. Well, rumours are that even that, ladies and gentlemen, even that is coming to PlayStation 5. But Clive, I hear you say, Clive, it's all rumours. Where's the proof? Yeah, it's all speculation. We've been here before with speculation. Yes, but so much speculation that one has to kind of look into it. And but let's sort of go back a bit. And I'm going to go. Obviously, there's plenty of Xbox commentators on Twitter who kind of kick off these rumours, and 99% of them, I don't give them any validity whatsoever, and often they're probably just quoting. But there's one or two people that I do give validity to, like Tom Warren from The Verge, for example. I'm always quoting him on this show and stuff like that. But let's go to one that I have sort of less faith in. But it all started, but just to give you an example of the kind of rumours we're talking about, let me know down in the comments below. I can see you already commenting already. This is great. What do you think it means? Take part in the poll. So this is from Xbox Era here. Your destination for Xbox news. 30,000 followers. Exclusive Microsoft plans Starfield release for PlayStation 5. So I'm going back in history a bit just to sort of, get a sense of the, rumors and speculation, and then we'll bring it up to date with the announcement from Phil Spencer only a couple of hours ago, which is very interesting. And there's rumors about Phil Spencer as well. For many weeks, rumors have persisted regarding Microsoft's intention to release a number of first-party games, namely Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves, on rival platforms. Now, quite frankly, multiplayer games, I don't really have a big issue, with them being on other platforms. It might be an exclusive, but surely it makes sense. Let's acknowledge that, PC aside, console-wise, PlayStation's biggest platform out there. So why wouldn't you want, Sea of Thieves on there? It's a multiplayer game. In the same way that, there was the whole argument over Call of Duty and how, the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and somehow, oh no, they're going to make, Call of Duty exclusive to Xbox. And it's like, well, there's no point. There's no point. It sells by the bucket load historically on PlayStation. So why would you suddenly cut off that revenue stream? Equally, why would you not consider the potential of that revenue stream on titles that have been, multiplayer games that have been on Xbox, like Sea of Thieves? Hi-Fi Rush, I could see, it's got that kind of slightly cross-platform appeal. Anyway, according to our sources who have asked to remain anonymous because they were not authorized to talk about company plans. So Xbox Era are quoting someone from within Xbox, allegedly. Okay, and the rumor is that it's disgruntled employees who are leaking this kind of stuff because they're unhappy, like clearly a lot of, Xbox fanboys seem to be unhappy, which is, quite frankly, and I'm going to be bold, I'm going to be opinionated, is nonsense. Yeah. That of this strategy, and that's why they're leaking it. So Starfield, of course, was a big, like Sea of Thieves back in the day, when it, was the big tentpole game for Game Pass, when Game Pass launched. Starfield, of course, was the big exclusive, was help to shift a few Game Pass subscriptions and all of that. But now it looks as though Microsoft are planning on bringing Bethesda's newest RPG universe to an entirely new platform, PlayStation 5, ladies and gentlemen. According to sources, we understand that currently Microsoft are planning to launch for Starfield on PlayStation 5. Post the release of the already announced Shattered Space expansion for Xbox and PC. I mean, this is the thing, you can play Starfield on PC, you can play Starfield on GeForce Now in all its glory. As the already existing rumours have suggested, the idea of bringing first-party titles competing console platforms marks a massive change in strategy for Microsoft. Yes, it does. But what does this mean? What does this change in strategy mean? Is it because Xbox just have decided they want to take a different route in terms of the so-called console wars? Or is the reality of the market, meaning, of the future market, the way that gaming is going to an element of cloud gaming, and PC gaming, and subscription services and stuff like that, mean that actually the console war is becoming a bit, potentially a bit irrelevant in the future. And therefore they're looking at a future strategy that means, it becomes like a, so PlayStation wins, say PlayStation, wins the console war in 5 years' time. It just might be a Pyrrhic victory, might be meaningless. I was just watching somebody react to the film 1917. It's a bit like, yay, you've won a piece of wasteland. Whoa, brilliant. It might be meaningless. because of the future, the way that the gaming industry, in terms of subscriptions and cloud gaming and sort of cross-platform, is going. Who knows? Anyway, so that's an example of how the rumors went, and then they kind of built on this, kind of crazy, and then you've got like lists. Here's another. I'll just go here. Here's another. No, somebody's deleted that. They chickened out. I record these two. I should make. I should. What's the word? I should screenshot some of these because some people have bottled out. Anyway, so here's this is on The Verge, and they're talking about here Microsoft weighs launching Indiana Jones on PlayStation 5. This was a big reveal. This is one of the flagship first-party games that they talked about at their recent presentation. And here it is already. And there was even, I saw some podcast, some PlayStation podcast, spitting feathers they were that Indiana Jones wasn't coming to PlayStation. Well, turns out like it could be coming to PlayStation. A source familiar with Microsoft's plans, tells The Verge, and now this is somebody telling The Verge, which I respect, as a proper, tech journal, that Bethesda is also considering bringing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to PlayStation 5. A new multi-platform approach for certain Xbox games is emerging inside Microsoft, we're told. These rumors and leaks seem like there's a certain veracity to it. I'm glad I used that word today. That's great. Veracity. There does seem to be a certain, I'm going to say it again, there does seem to be a certain veracity to these rumors, because you're getting them here. From The Verge, from Tom Warren. Yeah, and he goes on here, there's no smoke without fire. Why Microsoft might be considering Xbox exclusives on PlayStation and Nintendo Switch. Rumors are heating up about Xbox games coming to rival platforms, and there's no smoke without fire, he says. True. That's what I'm saying. It's been building and building over the last few days. So much so that we come to today and we have this from only a few hours ago. Okay? 2 hours ago at 8 o'clock UK time. Microsoft to share details. So it was rumored that Phil Spencer was going to go on CNN, I think it was, on a news show talking about tech and stuff like that. And it might be revealed there. That was a rumor that was not true, had no veracity to it. However, they weren't far off the mark because Microsoft has shared details on bringing Xbox games to PlayStation next week. So this is not a rumor. This is from Phil Spencer here. Phil Spencer from Xbox. We're listening and we hear you. He's addressing these rumors. Now that's quite. There's certainly no smoke without fire. If as the company in question has to address the rumors, the leaks. Clearly they're leaks and they're genuine leaks. We've been planning a business update event for next week. So clearly they have been talking about a strategy change of some sort, which they wanted to reveal in their own time. The narrative has taken things into a different direction, where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision for the future of Xbox. Stay tuned. So let's be very clear. He's not confirming the rumors are true, but equally, he's not denying. Yeah, he's not denying the rumors are true. And we'll look at some of the comments on that as well. Let me just delete some of these tabs. So I just wanted to kind of also put some perspective here and some balance. And so I'm going here to Hogue Law, Richard Hogue, who I respect because he's a lawyer, American lawyer. He's very good at explaining legal things, and it happens to also be into gaming. But he takes, even though this is not really a legal issue, he explains it in the way that you would in that nice, cold, clear, legal logic, you know, that kind of logical approach. Things to note, he's saying. So this is about that tweet from Phil Spencer. We're listening and we hear you. We've been planning a business update event for next week where we look forward to sharing more details with you about our vision of the future Xbox. Stay tuned. 1, they aren't ready to speak on this, suggesting the leaks weren't the plan. 2, this is most certainly not a blanket denial, suggesting there's at least some truth to the rumours. 3, they are presenting as sticking to their intended timeline, which also presents as not nearly as concerned about the response as some of the community's loudest voices, all of which is to say, stay tuned. Even at the time, it surprised me that they would try to push their Xbox console over their overall revenue growth with Game Pass or sales of software licenses. So what he's saying there is, you know, at the end of the day, it's a revenue game, isn't it? It's how much money you can make. And if you happen to have some of the biggest games in the world and you see, you know, how successful Call of Duty is, being a multi-platform game, doesn't it make more sense if you own the IP to get it out on as many platforms as possible? Like, is that the equation is making your games, remember your first party games, is it better to make them available on a wider range of platforms? Yeah. Get them to like a bigger market, sell them to a bigger marketplace. You're going to make more money doing that than those individual games as exclusives will drive somebody to buy a console. Now, it might work with PlayStation, but I would argue that it works less with Xbox. I don't have evidence, I haven't done research on that, but anecdotally, I feel you're more inclined with some of the nature of the PlayStation owner and some of the PlayStation games, more so I'd say with Nintendo, definitely. You know, absolutely, the IP that Nintendo have, like a Super Mario game, but you know what I mean? Their big IP, definitely, you go out your way, because it's quirky as well, to get yourself whatever Nintendo's console is, get yourself a Switch. Yeah, because you can't get Mario on other stuff. And that's certainly true to a certain degree with PlayStation, and I would say lesser so with Xbox, however much they try to have that killer app, that killer game. It ain't Spider-Man, yeah? But therefore, they have to consider, could they make more money? Now they've invested in Activision Blizzard, which traditionally sold cross-platform. Does it make sense that those games are restricted to one console? And can you justify that by saying, yeah, by doing that, we'll make more money by selling, by promoting that console, getting people to buy that console, and then we'll make our money that way? Or are you denying yourself gazillions of bucks by not making the game available on PlayStation? That's not to say you can't make it a timed exclusive. There's nothing wrong with a timed exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I'm just going to read out some of your comments while I'm sort of on this tip and everything. So, I missed the first one. So, Sanchez, good to see you. Caseball says, surely Microsoft Xbox narrative to the CMA stating they wanted all their games on every platform meant they would drop them onto PS5. Well, they're certainly demonstrating that. Maybe, in having to find a way to get that CMA approval they suddenly looked at the figures and thought, actually, that might not be a bad idea. Like I said, the reason FIFA is the biggest selling, game every year, apart from this year because it was Hogwarts, but the reason, that is because it sells on every platform. The reason Call of Duty does, massive business, it sells on every platform. If your game is good, is there an argument to say, as I said, to make it available on every platform? And more platforms equal more subscribers. Save yourself, and to have that right in the same way like a film comes out. Yeah, you can buy the film. You could buy that film on Amazon, buy to download and own, or it might be part of Netflix subscription. So you go, you know what? Actually, I don't need to buy it because I'm happy with my Netflix. I like the selection of films I get with Netflix subscription. And oh, look, it's got that film I wanted to watch. I mean, that's what I often do. I wait, until the thing suddenly appears on, whether it's Disney. Occasionally, some films that don't end, that aren't on Disney or Amazon Prime or Netflix. And then so I have to go to Amazon and, or Google Movies or whatever and rent it to watch, But a lot of movies, if they're owned, where they're owned, if you wait long enough and you've got a subscription to Disney Plus, sure enough, what's the Indiana Jones film popped up there? Not going to get that couple of hours back from my life. But there we go. It's very interesting. It'd be interesting if PlayStation allows this to happen. They're only getting 30% or less of a cut from a game sale. Yeah, now I've seen this sort of this idea, this concept proffered before. What if PlayStation say no? Well, the whole point, I guess, of an exclusive is because somebody else wants it and you're stopping them from having it. So if they don't want it, then I would say, they'll take look, PlayStation take everything, almost, don't they? They'll take the money. I mean, the amount, in a big IP like Indiana Jones, they'll take the money. I don't see Game Pass on PlayStation because that means day one release on a rival platform. True. That's the point. I think it doesn't, if Xbox's and Microsoft's strategy is subscription, Game Pass subscription. Yeah, get that monthly subscription from gazillion of people, a million people, 20 million people, 25 million people every month just paying you money. You know exactly where you stand. It's regular income. You're not going, oh, we've got to wait for the next big launch. We've got to wait for the next big launch. But you've still got that going on as a business. You've still got the big game launches. But if you could drive a reason to have that subscription, we've got all the games. It's about having, a library of games. Subscribe to us and you have this massive library of games. And yes, you can play, you can play it on GeForce Now. Play it on your PC. Play it on Xbox. They're not competing console-wise for Xbox. So there's a reason to become an Xbox subscriber. It's not damaging that business model. Yeah, in fact, it's potentially making that business model more interesting if that subscription is available to play in other things, in other places. So you don't need an Xbox console. Yeah, you can play it on your Samsung TV or play it on GeForce Now. You could have a PlayStation and go, you know what, actually, I'm going to, subscribe, get an Xbox PC subscription. So they've got, unless, you're blinded or sort of one-eyed focus on, I don't know, old school, I only like PlayStation. I've said before here, I like a world in which, you choose where you want to play the game. I can see a world in which we are truly agnostic when it comes to, platforms. If the main consoles give you a sort of mid-range gaming PC level, then just buy the game, almost like Ubisoft, like an Ubisoft subscription. Yeah, you buy the game and then you can get to play it on your device of choice. Why not? That makes a lot of sense to me. It just seems a sensible approach. Microsoft had the right approach. If you want to play our games, grab Game Pass and play anywhere. That's what I was saying, Caseball. Exactly. Hey, Crow, good to see you. Do you know how much Microsoft make from Game Pass? Suggested revenue is £1.50. What's on £1.50? Yeah, they make £1.50. 1.5 to £2 billion. Exactly. The point is that the thing about a subscription is, the upside of a subscription. That's why every business, I've talked before, I got like a notification today. I subscribe to some ready meals that get delivered. Very good, actually. It's basically frozen blocks of freshly made sauces like bolognese, chicken tinga, jerk chicken. Yeah, and they come in a beautiful kind of rectangle packet, and they're all like perfect blocks, frozen. Stick them in the microwave for 3 to 4 minutes, and you've got this beautiful, no additives or anything like that. It's all freshly cooked and everything. It's frozen, so you just get some rice, put that in the put the blocks in the microwave, heat them up, and you've got a delicious, tasty meal, whatever, that's been freshly made and then frozen and then packed to you. It comes in a frozen pack. They have nitrogen in there to keep it frozen, whatever. Dry ice. Anyway, the point is, what I'm saying is I subscribe to it. Yeah? A lot of the meal replacement products and complete nutrition products that you see on this channel, yeah, they offer a subscription. Get it delivered every 4 weeks. Subscription is the business model that people are striving for. Why, as we've probably all done in our life, we forget to unsubscribe. Every January, because like my Amazon Prime is annual, every January I forget. Not that I don't want it, but suddenly I get a notification. Oh yeah, you've just paid however much it is, 70 quid, 90 quid. Like I wasn't expecting to go out in my bank account. Oh, I think, oh yeah, Amazon. Oh, it's my annual Amazon. Yeah, and then the following week I get one for Flickr, the photograph thing that I subscribed to years ago, and now I can't get out of it because I've got about 2,000 photos on there from years ago of all my kids. So I don't want to stop that subscription. So you forget. And the point is, it's regular income. Companies want to create a model in which they know they've got regular income coming, rather than saying, yeah, we got a big launch, we got a big game. I mean, it's high stakes and high prizes if you launch a game and it's like a movies and it's a blockbuster. Yeah. But you know what? That steady income is the business model that people strive for. The downside is you've got to keep feeding the monster. You got to, if you're like Netflix or whatever, you've got to keep creating the next big thing that gets people to, your subscribers can't stand still. Shareholders demand that the subscription growth keeps growing. And the way you do that, you've got to just keep making it more value adding, great films, or, that's why Netflix buying new series or producing new series and all this. That's the downside. But if you go out and buy Activision Blizzard, then you've suddenly got this amazing factory to produce content. Yep. Thank you, Sanchez. Don't forget to hit the likes. Much appreciated. Good to see all the concurrent viewers. In fact, because you're so good, let us just go There we go. We're going to craziness now. We're letting it rain. We're letting it rain. Yeah, we're letting it rain. New memberships in the house. The big question is, of course, about what do we think about the future of consoles? Yeah? Oh, yeah. Welcome, members. I cannot... I'm probably I'll undersell myself. Can't expect lots from me. Although it is February, I am due a post. So you'll probably get one this time round. An exclusive little tete-a-tete, little piece from me as a lovely member. And maybe an opportunity to get one of my books as well. Anyway, Caseball says there will not be any new consoles in 4 to 5 years. You know cloud will be mainstream. Well, we talked about it. I still think it's too early. I still expect to see another console. And it may be a hybrid system that gives you an enhanced cloud experience on top of the old school one. There was a rumor that Xbox are already behind in the console cycle because they haven't managed to secure a deal with AMD, whereas PlayStation have. And, you know, you've got to get the deal in place with the chip manufacturer so you could start creating exclusive chips. Because obviously consoles are slightly more than just glorified gaming PCs. You know, they have bespoke chips that are either built, you know, by AMD or Intel or whatever it is, you know. So I can see, you know, another round of consoles at least, especially from PlayStation. But I can also imagine they will lean heavily into cloud, as we've seen. That's brilliant. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah. We built PlayStation. Yeah, that'd be hilarious, wouldn't it? The way I see it, if you want to play on Xbox Game Studios Day 1, but play it on Game Pass, or wait 6 months to play it on other consoles, like a timed exclusive. Exactly. Nothing wrong in that. And I think you still have the value. You know, things I really want to watch, like on movies, I'll pay. I won't wait. Like I want to see it before, especially things with spoilers are in it or something like that. I want to see it. I won't wait. I'll rent it from Amazon rather than wait. But ones that I'm like, oh, I'm nonplussed about, but I still want to see, I'll go, oh, I'll wait. I'll wait for it to appear on Amazon Prime or Netflix as a, you know, exclusive or whatever. Or, you know, as part of the subscription. Well done to everybody who got a membership. Well done. You hit the nail on the head. Money ultimately talks, and you drive your AA games onto every platform. Makes so much sense. Yeah, it's like, you know, there has been this sort of phony war, hasn't this console war that just seems to exist between, you know, certain sectors of gaming fanboys, you know, and it's really people sort of trying to justify to themselves why they made that investment. You know, we do it all the time. I do it, you know. I have a silly attitude towards, you know, Apple and iPhone, which stems from when iPhone first launched and there being a walled garden. Like you had to use, you know, you couldn't use Gmail on iPhone. Or you couldn't use any other music service other than iTunes on iPhone. And I hated that at the time. I mean, now you can. But back in the day, I thought, no, I want to use Gmail. No, I want to use, you know, this service. Or I want to use this music service. And you couldn't do that initially on Apple. And I hated that approach. I hated that attitude. And at the same time, Google was saying, hey, we're going to make Android. And this is back in the day. We're going to make Android open source. And I thought, yeah, that's the attitude. Now, you could argue that years later we look back at it and say, oh, that's their way of seeding the market so that then they become so powerful because it's, you know, like Microsoft Windows was. It's on, like, it becomes the default operating system by giving it away free, and then you're in control. But at the time, I liked that approach. I liked the open source approach that Android offered. And for me, I thought, that's it. I'm Google all the way. I'm Android all the way. And now, of course, I find iPhones difficult to use because I'm just not used to using them. I have one for work, really old little one here, because that's what works provide. But, you know, me, I stick with a Pixel for my personal use. But again, so you sort of, but over time, you justify that, like I've just did there. You justify it to yourself. And the phony console wars is really just people going, yeah, my box is better than your box. You know, and it's sort of, it's stupid. You know, really, you think about it. When you break it down, you take a step back. I mean, I've seen some ridiculous stuff on Twitter about people going, that's it. They lied to me. What? Yeah, that's it. They lied. Like I said, as though Xbox is somehow their girlfriend and they've walked in and seen it, you know, shagging their best mate. And the irony is, those people with that attitude probably never have a girlfriend. So it's their imagined girlfriend, isn't it? It's their imagined anime manga girlfriend has gone off with a, you know, someone else. And it's just a bit daft. I think we should check out some of the comments just because they're probably hilarious. Yeah, rip Xbox, somebody says, but long live Game Pass Empire. Yeah. Yeah, and all these sort of well-established Xbox commentators, who are self-proclaimed Xbox commentators, by the way. Like, who made you the king of Xbox commentators, yeah? The people did, Clive. That's why they're so popular. No, because they just rant and rave nonsense half the time. And they feel... I was watching a YouTube video about Russell Brand, whatever you think about it, and it was called the Grift Drift. And it talked about how, like, really brilliantly well-structured video about how he's basically just a grifter. And he's found how, you know, his attitude, his YouTube videos went through this is Russell Brand, went through 3 different phases. Like, at first, he was this sort of left-wing kind of, let's tackle politics, very left-wing, very liberal-minded YouTuber. His videos used to get about like 60,000 views, something like that. Then he became this kind of hippie, spiritual kind of, let's find our kind of, you know, our chi, our spiritual sense, whatever. Quite, you know, a bit intellectual, a bit kind of hard to understand concepts. And again, the videos maybe got 40-odd thousand, 30, you know, 60,000, something like that. And then he did a video about COVID conspiracy. 1.3 million. And then he went back to some of the more spiritual stuff, and they were like 40,000, 60,000. And then he did another thing about COVID conspiracy and something, you know, similar to that. Again, something like 1.5 million. And suddenly he goes, all right, I've hit something here. And then slowly but surely, he's going into the world of Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones and all that kind of stuff, and having right-wing commentators, you know, whether you like them or not. The point is, this on his channel and interviewing them and beginning to become a peddler of conspiracy theories, and his views, he's getting 1.4, you know, he's getting millions of views. He's suddenly found, this is how you do it. Yeah. And then he starts asking for money, support the cause, do all this kind of stuff. So he's basically a grifter. And he's found that a certain outrageous, conspiracy peddling attitude, the outrage is what gets your views. And if you get your views, you can get people to pay their dues, as it were, and get your money and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of Xbox commentators are like that. They're just like kind of so explosive and full of, this is the end of Xbox, or, what you're doing. And I believe and support the brand. I mean, like, right? Peter Ovo, whatever you think about it here, I believe in and support the Xbox brand. I look forward to, like you're saluting it, like it's the Stars and the Stripes or something, but it's a green Xbox flag. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Please don't devalue the Xbox console by making everything multi-platform. I've owned an Xbox since day one in 2001, but assuming the news is true, I don't see the point of owning an Xbox anymore. Might as well just get a PS5 and just wait for the Microsoft games. Well, why? Why? What's the difference? Why not get an Xbox? Do you mean, what is the difference? I hope the rumours aren't true. The potential decision is disappointing from my perspective as a user. I appreciate everyone playing, but the way it is being announced and the transition doesn't seem right. I believe in Phil. I believe in you, Phil. There was a brilliant... somebody did a tweet kind of parodying this, and it was so good. And it was like a love letter to a spurned lover, And some people thought it was true. Instead of reading, it's so ridiculous. I mean, the point is people think it was true because you could just believe it, Xbox are the new buddies with NVIDIA GFN. I can see it going much further. Same here. The new Kojima game, OD, will be cloud-based. What does that mean, Clive? Well, I just think they're going to be utilising the technology of cloud to maybe create extensive worlds or whatever. Just utilise the cloud to offer something to the game that having it live on the hardware can't do. I have no problems with timed exclusives, and Microsoft makes more money, more games will be sold. Can't wait to wreck the ponies in Halo Infinite. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, Halo as a brand has certainly dropped off a bit. And yet, as a PvP, personally, I think it's still it's one of the best. Like to pick up and play PvP, you don't feel too intimidated. It's fun to play. So why not make it available on PlayStation 5? Console wars are silly. Won't be long before Xbox fanboys demand the same from Sony. I also think that, as we've touched on today, that the idea of console wars is becoming less relevant in the future of gaming. So it's an old way of thinking. It's like an old empire way of thinking. It's what caused World War One. It's this old empire way of thinking. And then empires dissipate and change, and the world changes. But you've still got these kind of old. If anybody's seen The Life and Times of Colonel Blimp, it's a sort of satire on old world empire thinking. But it's that, old men still thinking the world is how it was years ago, when times have moved on. And the relevancy of selling plastic boxes becomes less important. They come important to PlayStation. They've always been important to PlayStation because, first and foremost, Sony is a manufacturer of entertainment boxes. Yeah, that's what they do. They make TVs and they make videos and they made DVDs and they made a gaming console. And then they, and, that's why Sony bought film studios, so they could create content to put on their DVD players and stuff like that. So at their heart, within their DNA, Sony have always been a manufacturer of boxes. And then they've found ways to sell those boxes. Microsoft entered the market of saying, okay, they're selling a lot of those boxes. We want to sell some boxes, so we'll copy their business model to a certain degree. But as time goes by, that idea of shifting boxes, becomes less relevant when it's clearly about having the IP. Waifu, I think, is the term. Yes, a waifu. That's exactly the term, struggle boxing. Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm good struggle boxing. Console wars for little virgins living in mum's basement with zero experience in real life. Exactly. It gives them something, Bjarne, yeah? It gives them something to argue or have meaning in their life. This is like the ZX Spectrum VIC-20 computer wars. Exactly. You made your decision. I didn't even get a ZX Spectrum. It was ZX81. I don't think I got round to getting a ZX Spectrum. Yeah. Publishers soon realised, exactly, you've got a bigger market. It makes, perfect sense. Crazy. Remember to hit those thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. Just we'll go back here. Look, and so Jez Corden of Windows Central, another respected, gaming journo. Some Xbox personalities. He calls them Xbox personalities. You know what I mean? Just saying they're going to leave Xbox or quit content creation. You know what, actually, if you are so pathetic that somehow you think it's a team game, it's a team game, you're going to quit content creation, good luck to you, mate. Apparently, it's all the rage, quitting content creation. I've seen a number of YouTube videos talking about people quitting content creation. As I've always said, just quit. Yeah. It's not a departure lounge. We don't need it announced, Any of those back in the Stadia day will remember my no need to announce you're leaving gag. Not me. I go down with the ship like a Windows phone. I'll turn the light off when you're all gone. As the last Xbox writer player left. People left Xbox in droves last gen because Microsoft couldn't consistently get either quality or quantity or equality of exclusive games on their platform. Their strategy now is they're finally letting those exclusives is to stop making them exclusive? ? I don't understand. No, their strategy now is to sell as many games as they possibly can. Yeah, if you've got, PlayStation, it's sold, I forgot how many now, but 50 million, 100 million units. You could sell, that's a market, and another 100 million potential, as opposed to, is your game really going to shift to plastic box? A gaming console? Get someone to buy that gaming console? It might get someone to subscribe to your subscription service, which I've already established is of great value if it builds. So why not? Why neglect a market of, 50 million, 100 million units? Xbox is getting really cozy with GFN. Literally, game for game, the Xbox PS5 pale in significance to GFN Ultimate, and the divide will get greater. Exactly. Playing games on GeForce Now Ultimate, as I've said many a time, is a wonderful, wonderful way to experience those games. You know, you are getting on GeForce Now Ultimate, 4080 RTX. And I can see, NVIDIA upgrading them soon. Is a great way to experience these games. And feels like a console if you play them via, a controller like I do. And then you play them on your Samsung TV through your gaming hub or your LG app or, as I said, whatever. Suarez, you are welcome. Yeah? You are welcome. Ryan McAfee, another editor of IGN. All the big guns here, the tech guns. Yes, this, for me, there's a difference between the respectively B tier stuff like Hi-Fi Rush and the blockbuster games like Starfield and Indiana Jones. Like I said yesterday, why now? You finally got the studios to make exclusives. If you're still in the position in a couple of years, despite having all the games then, I get it, but not now. Well, maybe now because you've got the studios to make all the games. Games which this studio has made and has sold in their bucket loads on PlayStation. Maybe they've just done the maths. Yeah, maybe they've just done the maths and thought, do you know what? It costs a lot to manufacture boxes when we could just make a clear profit on every unit we sell of these games. I mean, you think about it, they say, consoles, they're not making any money on the consoles. PlayStation, notoriously, I think it was a PlayStation 3, sold it at a loss. It was a loss leader in order to establish back in the day when having a console was relevant, arguably more relevant. They sold it at a loss to basically establish a foothold in your front room. So you would then buy the games in which they made all the money. So why go all to that effort to build a box that you don't really make any money on when you now own one of the biggest studios in the world and lots of publishing, lots of developers within that umbrella company, and make more money? You can make, you make more money per game the potential you make on selling a console, ironically, because the consoles are near, virtually sold at cost to be competitive. Sony is coming out with a handful of PC games this year, according to a leaker recently. Even Gran Turismo is on the list. Sony's already embraced time releases to PC because sales have been good. Exactly. I'm happy to wait for a PlayStation exclusive to end up being a PC game. I just wish more of them would end up being available on GeForce Now. Death Stranding was an example. And it was sort of worth the wait. Imagine an Xbox executive saying, why do we spend trillions of R&D on a console when I can just play our game so much better on my bloody TV? Exactly, imagine that. I'm hoping Sony cave in and start opting games into GFN, yeah. Was playing God of War the other day and it plays great on GFN. Yeah, exactly. Did you hear that Xbox not signed to AMD yet for the next gen? We talked about this, Suarez, yeah. So the rumors are that PlayStation have already done a deal with AMD and so are already ahead in the next gen console race, whatever it is. Yeah, or Nvidia indeed. Maybe the Nvidia Xbox. I could be wrong. Well, that's interesting. I recall the first Xbox was Nvidia. Not sure. If the next Xbox video game system after Xbox Series X is all digital, then I will stop buying the Xbox. I want physical games. All right, Grandad. Just joking. The most stupid mantra nowadays is that Xbox is dead. But in reality, Xbox actually go third party. Their revenue will explode, basically funded by the ponies that are buying their game full price. That's the great irony. Yeah, it will be the so-called ponies, the Sony people, that actually drive Xbox revenue. Digital is literally a thing of the past. It's another look. I love Xbox is done. It may take 5 more years, but they become Sega, and one day they'll just be Microsoft Gaming with stuff you can buy on PlayStation for $70 a pop. I've been an Xbox gamer since November 2001, a live beta tester, been here for all of it. This is the darkest day. Fly Astro Apple. Dear boy, dear girl. Really? This is the darkest day. What are people on? What are they smoking? I hate to agree, they've made enough missteps. They've made themselves a distant third in the console wars. Oh yeah, the console wars. Essentially irrelevant moving to the next gen. I too say this as someone who was on Xbox Live since almost the beginning. It's like people are having an epiphany. Yeah? It's like a road to Damascus moment for them, And they're suddenly going to convert to Islam or something. You know what I mean? Like having been a Christian all their life, or, Christianity having been a Muslim all their life. It's not a religion. But is a religion, Clive? Is it? It's just like, I want to play the games on the sort of electronic box of my choice. I happen to like Xbox. It's just a personal preference. Whether and I see it in kids in the same way. The majority of preference seems to be PlayStation. My son told me about his mate who was given a choice. Does he want an Xbox Series S or a PlayStation 4? Right? A PlayStation 4, not a PlayStation 5, a PlayStation 4. And his mate opted for the PlayStation 4 because of peer pressure. No, I don't want an Xbox, I want a PlayStation. Yeah, but I said to my son, yeah, but does your mate realise it's a PlayStation 4? It's like old generation. And he goes, yeah, I know. He just didn't want the Xbox. And you're thinking, it's a bit like no disrespect to our American friends, but it's just like in America, the iPhone is absolutely king. And this whole, as outsiders to America, we look on at this whole kind of green bubble, blue bubble, iMessaging kind of conversation that goes on, and how people are sort of bullied because their message is not green, it's, blue or whatever, When in Europe, we're all on bloody WhatsApp. It doesn't matter. We've got a mix of people. Some people have iPhones, some people have Androids. Some, people have their Samsungs, people have their Pixels. We're not obsessed. We don't have this green bubble, blue bubble thing. I see a bit of peer pressure at school. I remember I used to give my kids my Android hand-me-downs, and certainly my daughter, had to be an iPhone because of peer pressure. But my son didn't have that issue because he's a tech boy. And when I said, I'll give you my old, my Pixel 6, whatever, or Pixel 5, I can't remember what it was. No, I bought him a Pixel 6a. And he's like well happy with it. Just checked. Xbox was NVIDIA. Never underestimate the stupidity of the herd mentality. Exactly. You know what? Look. Hey, look, we're not perfect. You know I am guilty. I am guilty of what I call retro justification. Okay. I'll often, loads of things I'll think through and then come up with a decision. Other things I'll sort of come up with a decision, and then as time and say a purchasing decision, especially when it comes to a brand. And then once I bought into that brand, I begin to retro justify more and more why that brand is essential to me, why I made that brand choice, and then it becomes a sort of thing I can't shake. And therefore it sort of, in a way, prevents me from getting other stuff. It's like, I only buy, and it's, I know it's stupid. I'm aware of it. I only buy Converse. Yeah. I like having a collection of Converse and nothing else. I saw a Converse type shoe from an Australian Japanese company based on, anybody know the manga Initial D from the 80s, and based on sort of drift culture, like when I say drifting in your car. Initial D is an anime manga from, I think, from the 80s or 90s, and it was all about, drifting in your Subaru or whatever it is. Anyway, I saw these really cool funky shoes, and they look like Converse, but they're from, I forgot what they're called now. But anyway, they're from a Japanese/Australian company. I was very tempted, but then I thought, well, they're not Converse though, are they? And of course, Converse is owned by Nike, and I don't like Nike, but I've got to kind of try to ignore the fact that Nike own Converse. Anyway, but we have these sort of stupid, same with my watches, they're all G-Shocks, and I kind of then quite like the idea of almost being a sort of volunteer G-Shock representative, But when we take a step back, we miss out on opportunities by being so focused or loyal. None of these companies, I've heard it said before, have loyalty to us. I was guilty of it with Stadia. I was so invested in it. And then because I saw what I considered to be unfair anti-Stadia rhetoric by the press and stuff like that, having experienced it myself and completely having a different experience that seemed to be portrayed by everybody else, I became more entrenched in the world of Stadia. And, I stand by it. Again, it was a Google product and all this kind of stuff. I'd like to think some, get kind of too myopic on the one thing, The thing that sucks about iPhone to Android here, I'm assuming this here is America, is when sending video or audio messages, the quality is super low because Apple, not Google, don't want to implement a simple conversation. Yeah, exact conversion. Exactly. Tokyo Drift. Exactly. Converse are called Chuck Taylors here in the US, of the market player who helped promote them and improve the shoes back in the origins. Well, the Chuck Taylor, are they called Chuck Taylors? Because the classic Converse is a Chuck Taylor, and then of course the high top, and then of course they do lots of variations on that original Chuck Taylor whilst retaining that original styling. It makes it very distinctive. But yeah, do you still think Xbox will still let you play purchase games via the cloud? Well, interestingly enough, if you buy the games on PC from Xbox, yeah, they still call them Chuck Taylors. That's interesting. Yeah, we call them Converse here. Yeah, if you, yeah, thank Case Ball. That's what I was just about to say. If you buy them through the Microsoft Store, you can use them on GFN. So in a way, that's already in place. The high top ones. That's right. Yeah, Chuck Taylors, the classics. They've always been like in the 60s. They never really go out of fashion. That's why I like them. As long as you don't get two ones that are too garish or sort of the moment. The thing about a Converse is you can... I've got a pair of red Converse from... I want to say... Yeah, I got a pair of red Converse from 20 years ago. Classics. Original Chuck Taylors. You know, red. Little Converse thing on the inner ankle. Not the outie ankle, the inner ankle. And yeah, they're still good. They still look good. They're a classic. Yeah. I must stop buying Converse. Well, thanks for that. They're my mum's favourite shoes, believe it or not. Oh no, you know, they're the favourite shoe of 40 plus people. Google the Nike Freddy Krueger trainers. Wish you had a pair of these bad boys. I'll show you these shoes, actually. They're from... here we are, look. This is what I was talking about. 10% off. They're from a brand here called HTX Japan. These are the Fuji 3s. They're not those, I don't think. HTX Japan. They're a Japanese-Australian company. And they specialize in all this kind of drift merch and stuff like that. And I'm trying to find the shoes. Ah, here we are. Yeah, they are the Fuji 3s, I think they are. No, let's have a look, see if we can find the shoes. Shoes. Yeah. They're these. They do a red panda one. And then the box here has got this... if you, I don't know if you can see here, but this shoe is sitting on top of the shoe box. And the shoe box got an original comic drawing on it by renowned manga artists. And then you've got here this sort of see-through sole. It's sort of plastic see-through sole. And on it, you see you've got like a wheel there, drift wheel. And then the rising flag there. And then inside the shoe, you've got, again, some more references to Initial D manga. They're beautifully designed. And then you get a mini comic book and everything. The HCX Japan Osaka. And there's that. And the cars from Initial D that he's leaning against is the car from the anime series Initial D. Anyway, I like high tops. I've always liked high tops. But amazing detailing on there and stuff like that. Anyway, that's a little kind of segue there. I like them. I have wide Fred Flintstones. Yes, that is the drawback of Converse if you've got wide feet. They're quite narrow. I can never wear Chucks without the shoes looking terrible. Yeah. 100k for a pair of trainers, crazy. I like those shirts. Look good, they do. Actually, give Sony players a reason to play the PlayStation instead of it just being a paperweight. Whoa. Yeah, God of War is the only game worth playing on PlayStation. And I could just watch it on YouTube, Look, there's no denying that PlayStation make incredible exclusives that I would say, in some cases, shift a few consoles. But I haven't, Spider-Man came to PC. God of War came to PC. So, maybe that's not the, but as I say, maybe the old thing of it, the exclusives and stuff. Yeah, ouch. You can get them from China and they look exactly the same. Oh, my son bought a pair of, what did he buy? Air Max or something, some really cool. And then he bought this Nike Bape, sort of blue gorilla thing. I think they call Bape. It was what they call like a matchup thing. What they call it when the brands do a joint thing. Anyway, and he bought them from this company in China, and so basically the way that it works is you order it and it gets sent to this distributor in China. So you order it from the warehouse and it gets delivered to the distributor in China. The distributor in China then, when they receive it, take photographs of the box and the shoes and everything to say, are they right? Bathing Ape, that's the one, yeah. Bathing Ape. And a Bathing Ape and Nike mashup. Really cool. He loves Nike, so, but really cool. Anyway, they send them to the distributor. The distributor takes photographs and says, are these the ones you're looking at? Are they the right size? All that kind of stuff. And then you confirm it. And then then the distributor sends it to you. And they are considerably cheaper. Now, the Air Jordan things, I think, or the Air Max ones that came, I think there's only one thing on it that I maybe questioned whether it was original or not. But the Bape, the Bathing Ape mashup with Nike, I mean, the box and everything looked original. I mean, it wasn't just, because the box involved a bit of design, and the way that they slid out like a drawer, all the labels on it and everything, amazing. And my partner's son, apparently he's done the same. He's made about 800 quid shifting goods, Sure, a lot of them may be counterfeit, but they're like so good. Like I said to my son, the irony is they probably make the Nike shoes in question. You're just getting them straight from the factory. This, if not, it's just another factory down the road from the same factory that actually makes the Nike shoes or something like that. Anyway, yeah, it was just, he got a couple of other things from there. I was a bit dubious about it, and I got him to sit me down and explain it and walk through and show me a YouTube video of some guy who does it and recommends it and specializes in it. So we found the sort of the supplier that it was recommended and all this kind of stuff, and it all came good. And he wore his Bape Nike shoes, his Bathing Ape and Nike shoes to some do at school, and he was the talk of the town. He was talk of the town with his stylish shoes. I got at the time 25k Dior Jordan for $50. You can't tell the difference. Unbelievable. I hope PS will get actually great games like Forza Horizon, Halo Infinite. Yeah, I'd like Halo Infinite. Well, Halo PvP that will force Sony to create games that even the ponies will buy. Yeah. It's really wild stuff. It is crazy. It is crazy. Anyway, I just want a couple of things I want to show you as well. We're talking of PlayStation. Let's quickly just go through everything revealed in the 2024 State of Play. So here we go. We had the big announcement from Xbox when they did theirs was Avowed and Indiana Jones. From PlayStation, we get Dave the Diver, Death Stranding 2 on the beach with its kind of classically weird trailer from Hideo Kojima. Sometimes I kind of verge with Hideo Kojima. I'm a big fan, obviously, but sometimes I do think, is there an element of the Emperor's clothes there? Like the fear to perhaps criticize the stuff that he's doing as being bonkers nonsense? Oh no, yeah, it's all really good and highbrow. Is he just taking a piss sometimes with his out there surreal bonkers, and we're all buying it because nobody's like the Emperor's clothes. Nobody wants to say, it's just bonkers, mate. Dragon Dogma 2, big one. Foam Stars. Helldivers 2. And look a bit sort of Halo meets Destiny there. Judas, Legendary Tales, Metro Awakening VR, which I believe is also going to be available on other platforms like the Meta Quest. I'm very interested, being a fan of the Meta Quest, I hope this game does come to the Meta Quest. The VR game, anyway. Rise of the Ronin, Silent Hill 2, Sonic Shadow Generations, and Stellar Blade. And Until Dawn, V Rising, and Zenless Zone Zero. It's a quite, reasonable amount. I was about to kind of say, there's actually some really good things in there. I mean, obviously, the big thing is Death Stranding 2 and arguably something like Silent Hill 2 are the big announcements there. But let me know what you think, and especially compared to the recent Xbox developer announcement. Even though, ironically, the big announcement, Indiana Jones, looks like it's coming to PlayStation. So I just want to share that. And the other thing I wanted to share, shout out to Stadia. So as you know, we've been given an extra year in which to make sure that your Stadia controllers, I say plural, your Stadia controllers are up to date. We've talked about that before. I have further news. This is what this is about. So you can convert them to be legit Bluetooth controllers. So they don't become landfill, plastic waste. You can use them as Bluetooth controllers, or of course you can plug them in. But of course, the thing about the Stadia controller is that there are 17 buttons. Yeah? Because the API has buttons from 0 to 16. So 17 buttons. So basically, there are certain buttons on this that, like, so for instance, the old assistant button and then the old screen capture button here, for example, don't have any functionality with Bluetooth. But this whole piece here is that now you can talk to the Stadia controller with Web HID. The Flash controller acts like a standard gamepad. So we've known that. Bluetooth controller now, fine. Which means not all its buttons are accessible using the gamepad API. With Web HID, you can now access, this is from Chrome for developers, you can now access the missing buttons. So, since Stadia shut down, many feared the controller would end up as a useless piece of hardware on the landfill, as I said. The Stadia team decided instead to open up the Stadia controller by providing a custom firmware that can flash on your controller by going to the Stadia Bluetooth mode page. Okay? This makes your Stadia appear as a standard gamepad that you could connect via USB cable or wirelessly via Bluetooth. The Stadia Bluetooth page itself uses Web HID and Web USB. However, if you count the buttons on the Stadia controller, there are 19 buttons. If you systematically try them one by one, so you can go to this gamepad test demo, and it's got all the buttons all laid out. So I say you've got these kind of buttons 8 and 9. So the assistant button and the capture button don't work. But using Web HID, you can get them to work, or at least assign them, give them an assignment, as it were, assign a task or a job to them. And then it takes you through how to do it. So if you are slightly, basically it's just about opening up the Chrome developer tools, the Chrome dev tools, and then just follow this process through. And then you can basically assign the assistant and the capture button to something else. And then here's a whole demo here. So if you're interested, I'll put that in the chat actually for you. If you're interested in experimenting with your Stadia controllers to see whether you can add some functionality to those missing buttons. Just thought I'd share that with you. You know, I always like to do a bit of Stadia news now and then. Right, there we go. That was a bit of a rant and a half, wasn't it? Let me know what you think. I laughed so hard when the guitar came out and nearly started crying. I thought they closed down the Stadia. They certainly have closed down the Stadia servers, but what they did is they made these didn't have any functionality unless you, of course, plugged them in with USB. And so there was a lot of clamour to say, look, we've bought all these blooming controllers. Like me, I've got like 5 or 6 Stadia controllers, and now they're just lumps of plastic. And so they released some code so you could flash it to become a Bluetooth controller, conventional gaming controller. All that article there does is to say, actually, you can program it a bit more and bring some of the buttons that aren't part of a standard controller alive. So it's not wasted. So there we go. Xbox Elite Series 2 controllers are the best. You can have 3 different profiles. I like that, being able to set different profiles. I do like that. Anyway, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was the Monday Game Chat. Apologies for not being around last week. I really appreciate everybody who's come in today. Make sure you hit that likes. If you're new here to my Monday Game Chat rant, it's not going to be like this every week because there's not as much momentous news, but there will be next week because obviously Phil Spencer, Microsoft, Xbox are going to be announcing their sort of change of strategy going forward and the reasons why, and we'll finally have confirmation on what is rumors, what is not rumors, and all of that. And so there'll be plenty to talk about. So if you are new to my channel, then please do hit subscribe, toggle the notification bell, and that way you'll know when I go live with content just like this. To everybody else, thank you very, very much for being here live. If you're not here live, are you watching dead? No, you're watching it later. Also, arigato gozaimasu, I much appreciate it. And to all the people who are new members, welcome, welcome, welcome. I will do a little exclusive video for you all over the next week. Look out for that. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Check out the GeForce Now news for Thursday, of course. And as ever, I'll see you same time, same place next week. Thank you.
Thanks for watching the Monday Game Chat with your host, Clive Illenden. Don't forget to hit the likes, subscribe, and consider becoming a member. Hit the join button today.